In the quiet little town of Greenwood, mornings were always filled with the sound of chirping birds, the smell of fresh bread from the bakery, and the laughter of children riding their bicycles down the street. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other's name, and everyone also knew about the two animals who could never get along: Max, the dog, and Luna, the cat. Max was a strong brown dog with a wide chest, powerful legs, and eyes that seemed to notice every movement. He lived with Mr. Johnson, an old carpenter whose house was filled with the smell of wood and varnish. Max guarded the home fiercely, barking at anyone or anything that came too close. Across the street lived Luna, a graceful black and white cat with fur as smooth as silk and green eyes that sparkled like emeralds. She belonged to Mrs. Adams, a retired schoolteacher who loved reading on her porch. Luna was elegant, proud, and carried herself like a queen. But whenever Luna crossed paths with Max, peace was broken. The moment Max saw her, his fur stood on end, and he barked as if chasing away an intruder. Luna would arch her back, hiss, and sometimes swipe her paw at him before darting away. Their daily battles became such a routine that the neighborhood children often gathered, giggling, to watch the dog versus cat war. Deep down, however, neither Max nor Luna truly hated each other. Max was often lonely when Mr. Johnson worked late at his carpentry shop. He longed for a companion to share his days with. Luna, despite her prideful attitude, often felt the silence of her afternoons pressing heavily on her. She wished for a playmate, someone who would break her long hours of boredom. But pride and habit kept them as enemies. One fateful evening, everything changed. Dark clouds rolled over Greenwood, and the air grew heavy with the scent of rain. By nightfall, a violent storm struck the town. The rain poured down in sheets, lightning tore across the sky, and thunder shook the windows. In the backyard, Max was tied to his kennel. The storm grew so fierce that the old wooden fence surrounding the yard collapsed under the wind. Water rushed through the yard, soaking the ground. Max barked loudly, but Mr. Johnson was still at work, trapped by the storm. The dog shivered, his once brave eyes now filled with fear. From across the street, Luna sat by her window, watching. At first, she thought it served Max right for always barking at her. But as she looked closer, her heart softened. The dog's bark was no longer filled with anger. It was a cry for help. He was scared and helpless. Luna's instincts told her to stay safe inside, but something stronger pushed her forward: compassion. Quietly, Luna slipped out through the small window. She darted across the wet street, rain soaking her fur, and squeezed under the broken fence into Max's yard. Max growled weakly when he saw her, but Luna ignored it. She walked straight to him, pressed her warm body against his side, and rubbed her head under his chin. For a moment, Max was too shocked to move. But then, slowly, he leaned against her, letting her warmth comfort him. For the first time, The enemies sat together, two lonely souls united by the storm. They endured the long night huddled side by side, listening to the wind howl and the rain crash around them. When morning came, the storm had passed. The sky was clear, and the air smelled fresh. Mr. Johnson arrived home, surprised to see Luna curled up beside Max. He tried to chase her away, but Max barked, not his usual angry bark, but as if saying, "She's with me now." From that day forward, Max and Luna's relationship changed. At first, Luna would visit Max secretly in the mornings. They played together in the yard, chased butterflies, and sometimes shared meals. Max would drop bits of his food, and Luna would take them gracefully, flicking her tail in thanks. As days turned into weeks, their bond grew stronger. The neighbors who once gathered to watch their fights now gathered to smile at their games. Children clapped when Luna climbed a tree and dropped twigs for Max to fetch. Adults laughed softly when they saw the pair napping together on the porch, their heads resting close. Even Mrs. Adams and Mr. Johnson grew fond of their unlikely friendship. Mrs. Adams often carried treats for Max, and Mr. Johnson would scratch Luna behind the ears when she visited. The once rival pets had become the pride of Maple Street. Time passed, but the bond between Max and Luna only deepened. They no longer saw each other as enemies, but as family. In a world where dogs and cats were said to be natural opposites, Max and Luna proved otherwise. Their story spread across Greenwood as a gentle lesson. Friendship can grow where no one expects it. Children were told their story at bedtime, learning that kindness and understanding can turn enemies into the closest of friends. And so, every evening, as the porch lights glowed on Maple Street, Max and Luna curled up side by side, their shadows blending into one. They were no longer rivals, no longer alone. They were best friends forever.